They've kept Bryce Petty, both of whom, who, as far as I'm concerned, have proven the only thing that they have proven is that they could barely quarterback an arena football team, never mind an NFL team. All right. They signed Josh McCown when they could have signed Colin Kaepernick or a host of other quarterbacks who were still available at that time. And Josh McCown has only proven in the NFL that he's terrible. He's started for teams. He has an abominable record. So you can't tell me that it should be better, because this is somebody decided for the Jets, and I doubt it was Maccagnan, because Maccagnan's performance, his job performance, is evaluated by the media on probably a daily basis, or an almost daily basis, because he's the public face of the Jets. So somebody higher than Maccagnan, and I don't want to say it was Woody Johnson, but somebody at some point, they sat down and had a meeting and said, look, this is where we're at this year, and this is how things are looking, that the talent that we have right now, and this is before they let guys go, this is before they let Mangold go, and before all of these veteran players who they said goodbye, and before they traded even Sheldon Richardson. Well, this is after Sheldon Richardson. But somebody at some point, they had a group meeting, they sat down, and they said, look, we're looking at a team that probably is a 4 or 5 win team. And let's be realistic, this is what we have. And at some point, somebody in that room, and it had to be a higher up, said, you know what? Let's just get rid of guys. Let's get way under the salary cap. We'll plan for next year's free agency. And oh my, look at all those quarterbacks that are going to be available in the first round next year. There are 4 legitimate number 1 picks coming up in this draft. So that's what the Jets are targeting.
We have Greg from Lynbrook on the phone. He wants to talk about the Jets. Jets. What's up, Greg?
Hey, the Jets, their plan, they're chase quarterbacks. Maybe they hit Sam Darnold, who's probably the best prospect in the last few years.
Sam to me is their target.
Okay, who's keeping him healthy? Is he going to just get sacked 20, 30, 40 times a year for the next 2 or 3 years?
Oh, you're talking about who on the Jets is keeping him healthy.
Well, if this is their plan, they should be chasing some offensive linemen. They should have drafted an offensive lineman this year and start building up the offensive line, because whoever the quarterback is going to get crushed.
I don't disagree with you. I think that line should have been a priority, but I am under the assumption, or at least thinking that it would be common sense for the Jets to sign at least 2 free agent linemen.
Free agent linemen isn't turning this line around all that much.
Well, you got to start somewhere.
Yeah. You're starting with whoever the quarterback is getting killed for 2 or 3 years.
Now, I mean,
and I don't know if that's a plan.
I've said this before on the show. The Jets should be looking at the plan that the Oakland Raiders put together, because when about, I want to say 3 or 4 years ago, the Raiders were terrible.
Yes, very much so.
And one of the first things that they did, like you said, was to sign a couple of offensive linemen. And later on, it was a year or 2 later, I think it was actually the following year, was the year where they got Khalil Mack in the first round and David Carr in the second round. And obviously a great draft for the Raiders that year, but they already had some pieces in place. Now, I think the Jets probably were looking at this season as, we're not going to sign anybody, let's keep the money for next year. Because like I said, good linemen can help you win games. They don't want to win games this year. They want to try to ensure that they are the number 1 team, because like I said, if Darnold is the pick, and I can't imagine why he wouldn't be, you need to be the worst team in the league.
Yeah.
And you have to pass the Cleveland Browns to do that.
Well, actually, the Browns, they started stockpiling some draft picks.
Right. Oh, they have tons of draft picks.
I think that, if you get this quarterback, which would be a big turnaround for the organization, they need the linemen, and just, you need several linemen to do the job, and I think it's just way off. They're one of the worst O-lines of all right now.
But you can, I mean, the Dallas Cowboys showed that you can build a line quickly. If they draft Darnold as a first round pick, and then get a lineman from one of those lineman type schools like Iowa or Ohio State or Alabama, like some Big Ten or where they grow them beefy, and get one of those guys in the second round, and then sign get like 2 of the top 4 linemen who are available in free agency. Now you have a line. If you have 3 guys, you have a line.
If you get the right 3 guys.
Well, yeah. I mean, you need a left tackle for sure.
If you miss on the draft pick, my only point is whoever they get, hopefully it's funnel, they keep them healthy, and they build up the right guys, because the line is way off right now.
Yeah, no, that anyway, I agree with. 100%.
Thanks a lot, guys.
All right, thanks for the call, Greg. We appreciate it.
Good call, Greg.
Call next week.
Pleasure.
Anyway, good points from Greg there. 516-572-7440. Just quickly, the Cleveland Indians win streak finally came to end at 22 games.
How about that? How about that Cleveland Indians? 22 wins in a row. Yeah. Do you realize that's not losing for more than 3 weeks?
Yeah, and
that's unbelievable.
And they now have the American League record on that.
And here's one point I want to make real quick.
1 minute, we got to go to a break.
The Giants, the old New York Giants, for some reason Elias had them at the record as 26 in a row, but there was a tie involved. Right. And they said because the tie doesn't end a winning streak, it doesn't end a losing streak. But they said that was the reason that they won 26 in a row. Well, no, they didn't. If the result was a tie, that's not a win. So it's a winning streak. If you're not winning, it's not. The streak is over as far as I'm concerned. Right. So I didn't get that. As far as I'm concerned, the Cleveland Indians have the baseball record.
Right. Well, the funny thing, when you talk about streaks, everyone talks about, like Joe DiMaggio's 56.
Right.
He actually he missed a game and then hit like another 20 games.
It was 18. I think it was 14.
Yeah, so he went 72 out of 73
If he would have gotten a hit that day, I think the streak would have been like 71 games or something.
He went 72 out of 73.
Yeah.
So that's incredible. We're going to take a break right now.
All right.
You're listening to From the Press Box right here on 90.3 WHPC. If you have a comment or question, give us a call, 516-572-7440.
This program is brought to you by the Westbury Food Truck Festival, happening Saturday, October 7th at 3 p.m. in the parking lot of the NYCB Theater at Westbury.
Take a bite of the food on 4 wheels, plus games, prizes, and other fall fun.
For more information, visit venue.thetheater@westbury.com.
Look over there. I think, is that a bird?
No, I think it's a plane.
Yeah, you're right. It's pulling a banner.
The brighter side.
Hi, I'm Sarah Albertson, host of The Brighter Side, a show showing a brighter side of the world. Weekly guests who are sharing their stories in hopes of moving and inspiring others to do good in our world. The brighter it is, the better.
I want to experience the brighter side.
Listen Wednesday afternoons at 4 and Sunday nights at 11:30 on the Voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
Bring on the positivity.
Alarm.
Come on, Big Ed. Put your hands in the air, Big Ed.
They don't even know what you're doing there, brother. Anyway, brother, I don't know if you know this.
You can hear it in the song.
You can?
Yeah, listen.
I don't know if you know this. Besides us doing sports here at WHPC, there's sports talk on Thursdays, and there's what's the name? I keep forgetting on Tuesday. There's not Above the Game. What's it called? Beyond the Game.
Beyond the Game.
No, Beyond the Game's on Fridays. We'll find out. We'll find out in a second. Anyway, Beyond the Game is another show with Jacob Volk and Brandon Johnson and Dominic and Eric and Eleanor. And they're on from 3 to 4 every Friday talking sports. So we like to keep our sports family here at WHPC well involved and well informed. So
exactly.
Just a little reminder, Beyond the Game every Friday here at WHPC. Let's see. We've talked about the Jets. We've talked about the Indians, the Yankees, the Red Sox, as you like to call them, brother.
Don't be mean.
Well, that's what you say when you don't realize you say it.
I don't say it on the air.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
Stop.
You do. Anyway, let's talk soccer because Alexi Lalas the former evil redheaded guy. Well, he's that beard. He looked like an evil munchkin, or not munchkin, leprechaun, except he was tall.
Oh, man.
He looked like
that's hysterical.
He looked like groundskeeper Pete, or what's a groundskeeper guy from The Simpsons?
I have no idea.
The guy who speaks with he basically looks like Pete Flynn with the Irish accent,
I guess,
the Scottish accent. I should say.
Man.
Anyway, Alexi Lawless blasted the U.S. men's national team. Now, how can Alexi Lawless, do this about his team?
Who's more qualified to do it?
Tim Leonard.
No, Alexi Lawless is the most qualified person as far as I'm concerned. By the way, Susan Johnson says groundskeeper Willie is his name.
That's his name.
There you go. Nice job, Susan. But who better is qualified than somebody who was the face of the U.S. national team back in the 90s and who was arguably one of the best players on the team. The first U.S. player, and might even still be the only U.S. player to play in Serie A in the top division in Italy. Alexi Lawless, nobody can question Alexi Lawless as far as, well, what did you ever do? He did it all. He did everything that a soccer player could do. So when Alexi Lawless takes a big rip at the U.S. national team's underachieving, and he called them, and I'm quoting, soft tattooed millionaires.
Well, they are.
That's a big rip.
He wasn't a millionaire when he was playing with.
No, he wasn't. He's probably a millionaire now thanks to Fox Sports money. But back then when he started and he wound up playing in MLS after he came back from Italy. Maybe he made big money. I'm sure he made
MLS
big money.
Didn't pay him big money.
No, I'm saying he made big money in Italy. That's what I was going to say. You got to let me finish a sentence every once in a while.
I do.
But
I do. You sometimes.
The point being that there are few people more qualified to deliver I'll use this word and I hate using it, but the epic rant that Alexi Lawless delivered to the U.S. national team. And not only that, he called out players by name. Tim Howard told him, hey, the last World Cup, when people were calling Tim Howard, hey, let's make him the Secretary of Defense because he played so well against Belgium, made 13 saves in a game against Belgium to move us up, and we almost got past Portugal, but Ronaldo struck. But
the guy in the ESPN promo.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the guy in the hotel in ESPN with no shirt on. The women love him. But he said, Tim Howard, it's not 3 years ago. We need you to make saves. And Josie Altidore, is this as good as it's going to get because it's still not good enough? And Clint Dempsey, who has been a legendary performer for the U.S. national team over more than a decade, you need to step it up. And he said Michael Bradley needs to be not so zen and actually play. All right, and even the golden boy Christian Pulisic, who is still only 18 years old and plays in the German Bundesliga, the top division in Germany, and is regarded as either already the best player in the U.S. or certainly will become the best player in the U.S. because he's that good. But even he was not spared.
Right.
And Lawless said, you need to be better. You need to be the guy who starts to lead this team. And I mean, he was just picking guys off left and right. Boom, boom, boom. So, as far as Alexi Lawless, like I said, he's the guy. But the U.S. needs to step it up because they have 2 games left in qualifying.
They have to step it up?
Yeah, they have to step it up. my brother. But because they're underperforming. They sit right now in, I believe it's 4th place in the hexagon, the group of 6, and they need to finish at a minimum of 3rd. They're not going to win the group. That's out of the question. They probably won't finish 2nd, but they need to finish 3rd to get an automatic spot in the 2018 World Cup. If they finish 4th, then they'll have to play. I think it's Australia or somebody from the Asia group to advance to the World Cup. So that's another game that if you lose that, you're not in the World Cup. Goodbye.
And
so
right there, we're gonna have to say goodbye from the press box. Another hour.
The less said about the Premier League this week, the better.
Yeah, we'll catch that another time. Coming up next at 10 o'clock, Big Ed, the Good Gold Show. Keep it tuned for those radio songs you don't hear anymore, but Big Ed plays them. And thank you for listening to us. We'll see you next Monday at 9 a.m. talking from the Press Box. I will see you Friday with Beatles songs. And thank you for listening. Take care and bye-bye.
The opinions expressed on air are not necessarily those of WHPC.